dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I have another book talk video to share with you guys. We're not actually going to be talking about a single book today because I didn't get that book finished. I had a busier week than I anticipated, and I just didn't have enough time to read it. But we're going to be doing a book tag. I did one of these a few months, loved it, so I thought we'd do it again because I did want to put up some book-related content this week. So I scoured the internet to try to find a tag that I hadn't done yet. And I found this one on a blog, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the link to the blog in the description down below if you want to go and read her answers, or if you want to do this tag yourself. All the questions are there, and yeah, it's a lovely blog too. This is my first time coming across it, and I think I'm going to keep checking in on it because it looks really nice. So I've got the website pulled up here on my phone. So this is called the 20 Questions Book Tag. Question number 1 is, how many books are too many for a series? Now this question's a little, so this question's a little tough for me because I really don't read many series. I read Harry Potter when those came out, and I've read and I'm currently reading the Outlander series, and that, I believe there's 8 books from the Outlander series out already, and book 9 is forthcoming. And I mean 8, that's a lot, but that's not too many. So I think my answer to that question is however many. I mean, if you're reading the series and you're loving it and the story's still staying strong and the writing's still good, knock yourself out. Put out as many books as you need to tell that story. Question number 2, how do you feel about cliffhangers? I'm guessing this means in terms of a series, and I mean, I love them. I love a good juicy cliffhanger. It's frustrating, especially if you get the book as soon as it comes out and then you know you're gonna have to wait for ages until you can see what happens next, but I mean, it definitely keeps the interest up, doesn't it? Question number 3, hardcover or paperback? I mean, who doesn't love a good hardcover book? Most generally though, if I'm getting a brand new release, there's no paperback yet. So I'll get the hardcover. But if paperback is an option, I will get it as long as it's trade paperback, which is the bigger ones. Like this size, I'll get the paperback. I don't like the small pocket paperbacks. They're too small. The print's too small. I'm getting too old for tiny print. I noticed the other day that in dim lighting, like say if I'm laying in bed and I just have my night table light on, like I cannot read the print without my reading glasses. And that's fairly new. That's only in the last couple of years. But yeah, trade paperbacks or hardcovers if I'm getting the book right away. Number 4. No. Number 4 is favorite book. I mean, that's hard. It's hard to choose. I think I'm gonna have to go with All My Puny Sorrows by Miriam Toews. I love that book. I love that book. I also really loved The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whitall. I love, in terms of a book that's not fiction, I love On Writing by Stephen King. If you are a writer, you need to pick up On Writing by Stephen King. It's a book, the first half of the book is about his story, about his experience of becoming a writer, the rejections, the first time he sold a book, like all of these momentous occasions of him as a writer. And then the second half he calls the toolbox, and it's like practical writing advice. If you're a writer, you need to read this book. I have, I think, 4 copies of it. I love it so much. Anytime a new edition comes out, I grab it because it's so good. So we'll go with those 3 for now. Following that up, question number 5 is least favorite book. And for that, we're gonna go with Reaper's Creek by Onision. Number 6, love triangles. Yes or no? Yeah, I don't mind a good love triangle. I don't read a ton of romance, like strictly romance books. So, I mean, love triangles don't often come up in the books I'm reading, but I don't mind a good juicy love triangle. Number 7 is most recent book that you couldn't finish. And here's the thing for that. I am cursed in that if I begin a book, I have to finish it. No matter how much I'm not enjoying it, I can't put it down. There's something in me that I need to see what happens. And it'll drive me crazy if I don't figure out what happens. That equals a lot of wasted time, but it is what it is. And at this point, I'm pretty good at choosing books. So a lot of the books that I pick, even if I don't love them, they're all right. So yeah, I try to choose wisely because I know I'm gonna have to finish it. Question number 8, a book you're currently reading. I am currently reading a book called The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna. That's one I haven't finished yet. And I'm really, really enjoying it. It's the debut novel of the author, and it's so good. Another book I'm currently reading is a nonfiction one, and it's called Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Won't Stop Talking. And it's so interesting. I'm very much an introvert, and this book is really, really interesting. So I'm reading that one slowly because I try to power more through the fiction so I can talk about it on the channel. But once I am done with Quiet, I will be doing a book talk on that one as well. Number 9, last book you recommended to someone. What was last week's book talk on? The Familiars by Stacey Halls. That one, I'm constantly recommending books to people, and yeah, I recommended that one to all you guys last Friday. Number 10 and 11 are tricky ones. Number 10 is oldest book you've read by publication date. Oh, I think I do know. I have 2 very old books that I got at a store I used to live in Windsor, Ontario. And when I lived there, and I hope it still exists, there was a bookstore called Juniper Books, and they were used in rare books, and this bookstore was inside of a house. So you looked like you were just walking up to a house, except it had the sign for the store. You walked in, the first floor was all books, of course, and then when you went up the stairs, the rooms were kind of themed. So in what was the kitchen, there'd be all cookbooks. In what was, in what was a bedroom, there'd be, one bedroom had like chick-lit books, and then another bedroom had like science fiction books. It was just so cozy and so beautiful and so uniquely laid out. I love it. Anyway, I'm getting way off track. So when I was there, I used to love to see what kind of weird books I could find. I found a lot of Henry Miller books there. I found a lot of Anais Nin books there. And I saw these 2 books sitting on the shelves, and I just had to grab them. And they're written by Marquis de Sade. It's his complete collection. They're absolutely insane. But maybe I've read a ton of classics, so maybe something older, but the one that's coming to mind right now are the collected works of the Marquis de Sade. Don't judge me. They were wild. I couldn't even, I'd flip through the pages, but some of it is so insane. You can't just sit there and read it like a normal book. You're kind of just flipping through the pages. And then number 11 is newest book you've read by publication date. I'm trying to think of the last book that I pre-ordered so that it came the day it was released, and I think that might have been Elevation by Stephen King. Oh no. I know what it is. It's Women Talking by Miriam Taves. Yeah. Number 12, favorite author. I love so many authors. Stephen King, Margaret Atwood, Miriam Taves, Celeste Ng, Roxane Gay. I love them all so much. But I'll say Stephen King and Margaret Atwood are the two I'll say are my favorites. I love them. I love them so much. Number 13, buying books or borrowing books? Buying books. I love buying books. It's like my big weakness for things to buy. I love it. But I also do love borrowing books. Libraries, I love libraries. So, especially when I was younger, I spent all my time at the library. Now I buy a lot of the books. Number 14, a book you dislike that everyone seems to love. You know, that's a good question. I don't know. Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King was a book I couldn't really get into, and I know a lot of people loved it, and I know it's being turned into a TV show. I didn't dislike it. It just wasn't my favorite, so I guess we'll go with that. Bookmarks or dog ears? If I have a bookmark on hand, I will grab it. But if I don't, I will dog ear it. I know. I can hear you now. I know. But I don't mind it. I like when a book looks broken in and used and well loved. I like that. To me, that increases the character of the book. But I know a lot of people hate it. My husband hates it. He's like, no. And my daughter hates it, but I don't mind it. But if I have a bookmark, I will use one. My friend Kim sent me a lovely bookmark and a Christmas card. I used that one. Number 16, a book you can always reread. Well, On Writing by Stephen King. I can read that again and again and again, and I have. Another book I love rereading is Stuart McLean's Christmas collection, Christmas at the Vinyl Cafe. I reread that every Christmas. There are a ton of books that I can reread, but those two come to mind right away. Number 17, can you read while listening to music? I can. I don't like to, though. I prefer quiet when I'm reading, but I can, and I have. I can read if a movie's on. I can read with a lot of noise, but I prefer not to. Question number 18, one point of view or multiple? Whichever. One, multiple. It doesn't matter to me either way. Multiple's fun because you get a lot of kind of different angles of a story, whereas with one point of view, you're kind of left having to just trust that person, that what they're saying is true. Whereas sometimes with multiple points of view, you're able to get a more well-rounded view of the story. So, I mean, either. That was a lot of words to say the same thing. Number 19, do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? That depends on the book. If it's really short, or if it's never in one sitting, because, you know, who has time for that? But I can read a book in a day if it's short, or if it's really compulsively readable, but most generally it takes multiple days. And the question number 20 is not really a question. I mean, it is, but the question is, who do you tag? I tag anyone who would like to answer these questions. If you do, let me know that you did so I can go and check it out. I would love to hear your answers. And yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love answering book related questions. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I hope you'll hit that like button, and if you want, subscribe. I love making new friends. And I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.